Lights flicker, machinery stalls mid-grind, and South Africa exhales another weary groan as the grid plunges into stage 6. Load shedding is now so routine that toddlers can chant the outage roster while restaurants design menus around rolling darkness. Yet behind the frustration looms a gamble that could either banish the blackouts for good or lock the nation into deeper gloom, Eskom's unbundling. Before we follow the high-voltage cables of power, policy, and politics, smash that subscribe button right now so you never miss another Unfiltered deep dive into the decisions that shape your life. Load shedding is not simply an inconvenience, it is the metronome of economic erosion. Each blackout vaporizes revenue, slices through factory output, ruins cold chain medicines, and dims the dreams of children revising for exams by cell phone torchlight. Economists peg the daily cost of prolonged stage 6 outages at well over R1 billion, but no spreadsheet captures the dread that rises when alarms chirp helplessly in the dark. Diesel generators roar to life from Santan penthouses to rural clinics, their fumes a tax on lungs and wallets alike. How did a utility once hailed as the continent's powerhouse fall so far? Years of deferred maintenance on an aging coal fleet left boilers wheezing and turbines rattling. Mega projects like Medupi and Kuzal arrived late, over budget, and riddled with design flaws. Skilled engineers streamed out of Megawatt Park, replaced by political appointees who knew as much about steam cycles as they did about quantum physics. Coal quality deteriorated, sabotage crept in, and crime syndicates siphoned diesel and spares. By 2024, Eskom had shed power on 329 days in a single year, turning candles into household essentials. Into this chaos strides the plan to dismantle Eskom's monolith. Cabinet has approved a split into 3 distinct, state-owned companies, Eskom Generation, the National Transmission Company South Africa, and Eskom Distribution. Each will have its own board, balance sheet, and regulator-approved tariffs, ending the opaque cross-subsidies that once allowed one division to mask another's failures. Transmission is first out the door. The NTCSA received its licenses in late 2023 and is scheduled to operate independently from April 1, 2024. Unbundling on paper is straightforward, separating live wires is not. Assets must be valued, debts reassigned, payrolls carved apart, and unions placated. Any misstep could trigger credit rating downgrades or lawsuits. Workers fear retrenchments. Suspecting corporate restructuring is code for pink slips. Economists counter that potential job losses pale next to the employment carnage caused by blackouts. Still, battle lines have formed. NAMSA vows strikes if forced transfers proceed, while business groups plead for speed. Meanwhile, the lights must stay on. Eskom has set an audacious goal of lifting its energy availability factor to 70% by the end of 2025, helped by the long-delayed return of Coburg Unit 2, Kuzal Unit 6, and Medupi Unit 4. Achieving that mark could shave several stages of load shedding, but it requires flawless execution, an ass taller than the Medupi smokestacks. Independent power producers are sprinting to fill the remaining gap. A 2024 reform scrapped all size caps for license-free generation, unleashing a wave of solar, wind, and battery projects now jostling to connect to a grid never built for such diversity. Every kilowatt of new capacity costs money, and most of that cash still flows through Eskom's battered coffers. To stabilize revenue, the National Energy Regulator approved tariff increases of 12.74% for direct customers and 11.32% for municipal bulk buyers, effective April and July 2025 respectively. Households already reeling from food inflation erupted in anger, insisting they are paying more for less electricity. Manufacturers warn the hikes could erode precisely the growth the reforms are meant to spark, yet Eskom counters that its R500 billion debt mountain leaves no alternative. The grand wager is that splitting the utility will cure its underlying ailments. Advocates note that Eskom will become the 106th electricity provider worldwide to unbundle, and international evidence suggests transparency and competition drive efficiency gains. Critics retort that state capture was never about corporate structure, it was about political will. The same actors who looted the old Eskom could simply don fresh uniforms in the new subsidiaries if watchdogs blink. Politics is the live wire no engineer can ground. Rival ANC factions portray unbundling as either salvation or neoliberal betrayal. The EFF rails against what it calls privatization by stealth, demanding that Eskom remain a vertically integrated emblem of sovereignty. Business lobbies cheer the prospect of an independent grid operator yet fret over policy U-turns once election season peaks. Rural municipalities fear losing distribution surpluses that cross-subsidize water and sanitation, while urban ratepayers bristle at paying ever higher tariffs for lights that seldom shine. Amid the fog of politics and spreadsheets lie live stories you seldom see in board packs. In Soweto, Mama Thandi's Spoza shop loses its freezer stock twice a month, replacing thawed chicken now costs more than her eldest child's school fees. In Port Elizabeth, an automotive parts plant idles whenever Stage 4 strikes, forcing workers onto half shifts and shrinking the tax base that funds clinics. In Kathu, by contrast, vast solar farms have birthed a local boom of electricians, caterers, and security guards, proof that an energy transition can lift as well as break. Across every province, households scramble for resilience. Rooftop solar installations have surged 300% in 2 years, lithium-ion battery walls are the new status symbol, and neighborhoods crowdfund diesel to keep borehole pumps alive. Yet these ad hoc defenses widen inequality, the rich bathe in sunlight while the poor wait for dawn. International creditors crunch the numbers. Eskom's 2024 results showed a 55 billion rand loss, largely stemming from a one-off charge linked to the transmission carve-out, yet executives predict a 10 billion rand profit by March 2025 if reforms hold. Moody's estimates that full execution could add a percentage point to GDP growth by 2027, while the World Bank is lining up low-interest loans tied to milestones such as 5 gigawatts of new private capacity and a 15% cut in unserved energy. So where does this leave us? If the transmission spin-off launches on schedule, if aging plants claw back capacity, if municipalities settle their arrears, and if investors keep pouring concrete, load shedding could be only an unpleasant memory by 2027. Should any of those ifs collapse, South Africa may face darker nights and dimmer hopes than ever. Either way, accountability will matter more than rhetoric. That is why SA Unfiltered will track every kilowatt added, every missed deadline, every tariff hike, and every corruption probe tied to Eskom's transformation. We will follow the money, grill the ministers, and amplify the voices of citizens forced to live by candlelight.